Right, we're recording. So welcome, choir. This is our last session before we have rehearsals next week. So it'll be Zoom rehearsal next week, and the plan is to rehearse right through June and July. Now, you probably all know that, but I just want to make sure I say things for the people who are not present so that they can see this as well. We do have some repertoire, and the idea is that we'll be sending you scores for you to copy at home in the next few days, certainly by the end of the weekend, so that you've got your own scores by next Wednesday. Now, if you're not able to make your own scores, could you please raise your hand? Now, I think, Priscilla, you can't, but someone's going to get them to you. Is that right? Who's getting scores to Priscilla?
Marjorie.
Marjorie is. Okay. All right. Is everybody else okay for making scores? Okay. Terry's saying something, but we can't hear you.
How big are they?
Oh, well, they're PDFs, so they don't take up a lot of space. Yeah, you can unmute yourself if you want to say something. You can either press the
I mean, like 30 pages or just a few?
Some are longer than others, but what I'll do is I'll tell you what you need to print for each week, so you don't need to print everything. Don't worry, you're not going to get everything at once. I haven't got it yet. So I've done it's not even a program yet. I've done a lot of research and I've got a lot of music, and I've prioritized music, and I just did the sums. If every piece of music that I've prioritized, we were able to get the scores, afford it budget-wise, and be able to rehearse in isolation as well as not in isolation, we would have 90 minutes of music, which is more than we need. However, we won't get everything. So I'm going to do a share screen thing now. Oh, where's that button gone? There it is. Share the screen. And open up this. Okay. If anybody, so I'm hoping that I can't see all of you now, but I'm hoping you can see this document. If anyone can't see the document, could you say so in the comments, please? I'll see if I can read the comments.
We can see your screen in the list of repertoire.
Yeah, that's it, repertoire, working document. So what I've done, the pieces that I've highlighted in red are my priority pieces, the ones that I, hope that we get to do, and some of them we won't. So I just want to quickly take you through it so you just have an idea of what the plan is. So items 1 and 2, the two Bach works, the first two Bach works, I'd really love to do number 2, Sing at Them Herren, but that requires 2 tenors. Now, Jess Chamber has said he's probably going to sing with us, but you know what happens with Jess. If he gets a paid gig, he has to take it. So it's too risky to do that because it's for a double chorus. So we will probably do Jesu meine Freude. I can get PDFs of that. It's a 20-minute work, so we won't, I'll send it to you, but you don't have to print all of it at once. But I already have the score. Now, items 3 and 4, we're probably not going to do those. They're just my sort of fallbacks, but I don't think I need them. Items 5 and 6, now these are the swingle pieces that I would prefer to do. And I will send this out as well so that you can click and have a listen yourselves. I haven't got those scores yet, but I do have a choir in Queensland that has confirmed that number 5 is available, and it's just a matter of when they send them to us. Now, that's going to be a printed score, and then we're going to have to scan them. So we have to borrow the scores because they're still in copyright, but then we'll scan them and send you the PDFs of that. Number 6, Badineri, I really want to do, but I haven't found a score yet. If I find a score, great. If not, I'll do one of the other 3, number 7, 8, or 9, that you can see down there. Probably well, I don't know. I don't know which one yet. So, yeah, if we can't do 6, we'll do one of the other 3 that are below that. So that's Bach. Now I'm going to attempt to have to remember how to do things. I want to see everybody. Oh, can you unmute yourselves and ask me if you've got any questions?
I'm just interested, don't you have to pay, do you have to pay for swingle arrangements?
Yeah, we'd have to pay for those scores. But number 5, we would be borrowing from another choir. So they've already bought it. Number 6, if we have to buy it, that would cost. And that's another question about whether we will do it, because our budget's very tight. So we don't know. But number 7 is available and it's legal because it's borrowing. So that's probably the first option if we can't do 6.
And Philharmonia has Blu-ray.
Philharmonia is telling me they cannot access their scores and that the scores are in crap condition. I don't need it from Philharmonia anyway because I can get it from this Queensland choir. But I've talked to them.
The air on a D, what was the other one? The air on a G string.
Yes.
Is that the Barber?
No, it's not Barber. It's Bach.
Bach.
It's a do, 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 do. Very familiar. The thing about both of those, numbers 5 and 6, is they're very familiar to an audience, and the audience will enjoy it. And that's part of what we want to do. We've sort of been in isolation. We've been locked away. Here we are, and we're going to do some fun stuff and things that you know.
Also, just made me think, there is that Barber Adagio in music. Yeah.
It's in too many parts.
I've forgotten how many parts it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's it was on my very, very early list, and then I kind of went, it's very stressful to sing, but yeah, and it's quite high as well. Okay, now we've done Bach. Now we're in Brazil, and again the preferences are in red. So what I really want to do is numbers 2 and 3. They're both Villa-Lobos, and the Bachianas Brasileiras, number 5, is the famous one, the one that's you've probably heard a soprano
Aria. What's it called? Aria.
The cello ensemble do.
Mm.
I haven't found a choral arrangement yet, but I'm not giving up yet. Number 1 is quite challenging but fabulous. If I still have to decide whether I think we can do it under the kind of learning conditions we're working under. So I'm not yet sure about that. Choros number 1, which is item number 3. I'm in touch with a Brazilian group that sings their own arrangement. It's a fabulous arrangement, and you can listen to it on that recording. In fact, why don't we try this now? I want to just see how it goes to play a segment of it and see if you can hear it clearly on Zoom. So let's see what happens. Actually, I've already got it. Wait a minute. I've already got it. You can see my screen here. Now, this is our playlist. If you've never been there, about time you did. Now, let's find the correct one. Ordinarios doing Choros number 1. Have a listen. I'm only going to play a little bit of it. You'll know the tune for sure. Oh, sorry about the ads.
We're all crazy. Can you keep up? It's time to have a little fun. Those are my people. The baddest of the baddest of the baddest. No doubt like Beth and not.
Looking for
another ad.
investment? Broaden your horizon.
They're pressing in now.
Commercial property is a great way to grow your
No,
portfolio.
you can skip.
Have a listen.
Text. Nice font.
Você que achou que o som estava muito baixinho, se prepara. Ó.
Lots of drums.
Ah, lovely.
Well, the Brazilian isn't too difficult to learn.
No, the bass has got to do those sort of, you know, dum kum dum sort of stuff.
Yeah, because they know words.
Yeah, and yeah, well,
Rod will love it.
the words will be a snap.
Yeah.
Yadam.
Mm.
Rod will love it.
Yeah, you still get them
Oh.
wrong.
Rod and
As long as David does all the pictures.
yeah. Now the question is, could you all hear that reasonably clearly?
Reasonably well, yes.
Yeah.
Cut in and out for me.
Sorry, that was not so good for you, Yaz?
It's cut in and out.
Yeah. Okay.
On a phone, it's not so good. I can't judge whether on a computer it would be better.
Right.
Computer is great, except slightly muffled sound. That's all.
It was a bit of a funny sound, not your full sound. Good day, Rod.
Yeah.
And I could hear the voices, but not the percussion.
Yeah, that's all right. We won't be doing that percussion. We don't have that many drums.
Well, if Jess sings and
Mark's
I play
got some
drums.
friends.
Sorry, what?
Mark Grove has some friends.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Tycho. Oh my goodness. That would be cross-cultural, wouldn't it?
We'll just get Tychos to join us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
Okay, so moving along, the One Note Samba and Ipanema Girl, again, they're really, really well known. And if I can get scores for them, again, Ordinarios is this Brazilian group I'm in touch with on Facebook, and we just haven't quite got there with the emails yet, because they're in Brazil. They're probably suffering like crazy at the moment. But I'm sure you all know those two. Mulher Rendeira, we've done before, and we have the scores. That's a really good reason to do it. Two really good reasons to do it.
Nice piece.
Sorry, what was that, Terry?
It's a nice piece.
It
also.
is great, and it's good fun.
But is it from Brazil or is it from?
Yes, it is.
I mean, oh yeah.
Yeah, it combines two songs into one piece of music. They're both Brazilian folk songs. Now we get to the, no, I'll just skip for a moment to number 9, Mais Que Nada. I don't know whether I'll be able to find an arrangement that we can do. I love the idea of Norths, but it's quite tricky, and I haven't found one that suits our needs yet. You never know. Gunnar Eriksson, this one absolutely want to do. It's a stunning piece of music that he's written to, I forget what the occasion was, something terrible happened in Brazil, and this was to the mothers, and it's just a Salve Regina, but he's dedicated it to the mothers. And this, of course, gives us this crossover of Sweden, Brazil, which we're looking for. Do have a listen to that. I want to. Yes,
Margot, the ones I've seen have been written by somebody else and arranged by Eriksson. Is that the right one?
No, and it's not Erik Eriksson. This is Gunnar Eriksson. It's a different Eriksson, and this is his own composition. I won't play it now because, well, yeah, I will, but I'll do it this way. It's just a bit easier to find. So much music. Where is he? Where's Mr. Eriksson? Might have been easier to do it from the document. I'll do it from the document. Here we go. Hope there's no ads.
It will be.
Okay.
Sound not very good in that one.
Yeah, the sound was pretty terrible.
Very echoey and strange.
Oh, that's a shame.
But it's about the idea.
You'll have to listen to it.
Same as for cutting in and out.
Yeah.
It's a lovely piece.
Sounds like it would be beautiful.
That tells me the limitations of using recordings in a Zoom session, unfortunately. But yeah, in that case, I'll be asking you guys to spend time with the recordings as part of your learning. But that piece in particular, if we find that we're not doing a concert on September the 5th, and I think that's highly likely that we won't be doing a concert with an audience, but it may by then be safe for us to meet in a large enough space or in an outdoor space with beautiful acoustics and make a recording of, say, 3 pieces from this program, which we could then use to publicise the program as well as give ourselves something to do. If we do that, that piece is top of the list. It's number one, and it needs a really live acoustic, because we're sending a message during COVID to the mothers of Brazil, a country that is suffering, one of the greatest suffering countries of all with this virus. So that's the idea.
Your president.
Well, the president is worse than Trump, but we won't go there.
To say.
It's been recorded. No more politics. Okay, so that's that sort of lot. We've already got too many pieces, but as I said, we won't be able to get all of them. I need to tell Marg Groves that I've just said that the Ericsson Salve Regina is a priority piece. That means probably buying it. Just letting you know that.
That's okay. Maybe we could get a sponsor.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping, once we have a firm plan. So this is now other pieces that are, what did I say? Yeah, we've got 2 more lists. We've got the others priority and the others not priority. So here's another one that's close to the top of the list, Arvo Päert's Virgencita. Again, I won't play it to you. It doesn't work on Zoom, but I urge you to go and have a listen to it. It's another one that's a potential recording. You know, if we can't get the Ericsson, we might get the Päert. And also Arvo Päert's Da Pacem Domine. And when I send things out to you, I'll send you the story behind the pieces as well. The Virgencita is related to something that happened in Mexico, and off the top of my head, I don't remember. The Da Pacem Domine was commissioned for something else in Spain, and then the train bombing happened, and so it was dedicated to the victims of that.
Have we sung that?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
In Cuba.
Yeah.
Ah. And in Redfern, in a concert in Redfern?
Yeah. Good memory. Good memory. So we already have. Oh no, we don't have it. We can borrow it through the music lending scheme from another choir, so we don't have to buy it. Schubert Vivancos Ave Maria. A good reason to do that is that we've done it before and we have the scores. And it's another crossover. So that's good. And now these 2 here by Sean Kirchner. You may remember that we did Lauridsen's Soneto de la Noche.
Yeah.
We could do that again, but it's really challenging. It's really challenging, especially rehearsing in isolation, even when you know the piece. These other 2, the Tu Voz and Tu Sangre en la Mía, are similar in style, but much simpler, just in 4 parts with a piano. And I think they'll be a lot easier to learn in isolation. But I don't have the scores yet, and we have to find out what the cost is. So I've got feelers out making inquiries, but I haven't got answers yet. Well, I do know, if we go back to Virgencita, I know we can get that through Universal, because Universal handle all of Päert's music. I also know it won't be particularly cheap. But I don't yet know where we can get the Kirchner pieces. And then we've got this other little list, Soneto de la Noche. I don't think so, actually. Rotavara, Suite de Lorca, probably not either. These pieces are here, you know, if almost all the pieces fall through, then we go to our second list. The David Basden, we've done them before, and we don't necessarily need them to do them again, but if there's a little gap somewhere and it needs one of his pieces, that it could go in there. This is one I would like to check out. Marg, some of you know Katrina Jens. She sang a song with words by Sir Walter Raleigh while she was walking the Camino. Every time she sang in a church, she sang this song, but she hasn't told us what it is, so I'm going to ask her tomorrow night. It's probably a solo voice or unison or something like that, but I want to find out. I had the mad idea that we could perhaps do some ABBA, but it's not top of the list. It's just, you know, if an ABBA song jumps up and someone's got it and it doesn't cost much, fine. And the same thing, you know, if we've got a gap and we need something, we've got a couple of pieces by Elliot Levine that we could throw in the mix.
I've got Dancing Queen.
Oh, Dancing Queen. Oh, you have, but that's not in Spanish. There's no connection to...
La Reina Bailando.
Her name is Margot?
And Antonio Esteves, Mata del Alima Sola, it's a great piece. However, it doesn't do, there's no crossover. So we probably won't do that either. So all the things in black, you know, they're only there in case we need them. So I'm going to unshare the screen.
Oh, you're all still there.
You're all still here. I'm going to unmute you all. I can't because Gary's muted himself. So please unmute yourself, Gary, so I can... I don't have the unmute option because I'm going to have to ask people to unmute themselves.
I'm unmuted, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Testing.
Oh, hello, Rod. Oh, look at your hat. That's all.
Rodney, what is that hat?
This is my Trump wig.
Oh, no. We decided not to be political.
Too late.
So just before we get back to just casual fun things, any questions about any of that? Just wave your hand if you want to say something so we don't have to do the muting thing.
A lot of work you've done. It's amazing.
Oh, I love it.
Love, hate.
No, I love it. It's sometimes boring, but you know, I love it really. I love it. I love discovering new pieces. Yeah. So what we end up doing, apart from the Bach, anything else that we end up doing will probably be a function of availability of scores, cost of scores, and then I'll look at, you know, what we're left with and have to think from my vast experience learning under remote conditions what is realistic. So I do have a question. How many people are up for the idea, provided it's safe, up for the idea of doing a recording on September the 5th? That's the day we've set aside for the concert. So
yeah,
presumably all free.
Diary's not very full at the moment, is it?
But I understand that, you know, when restrictions get lifted, people are going to want to do things like see family and things like that. But what I'm hoping is that we'll actually be able to rehearse in person in August and do a recording on the 5th of September and then take a break. And then resume in October, that sort of thing. Rod?
In Stammel Park, because we only have a small group, 5 people, I'm allowed 5 people in my home, so 5 come here, and we have another alto, we have an alto in town as well, and 5 people go there. So we actually rehearse 12 people altogether. And it's I think that is...
What, in 2 different houses?
In 2 different houses. Yeah. And then we listen to it. We work for maybe half an hour and then listen to each other. And, you know, just do things like that. It means that you're not trying to sing completely by yourself.
Yeah, I like that. And that may be possible down the track. I don't feel safe to do that yet, having looked at some of the research and how far droplets travel and not only the droplets, but the finer aerosols travel when someone is singing. It's further than speaking. And the aerosols are very, very fine, and they do contain the virus, and they hang about for a long time in the air. So that's why we're assuming we're going to be on Zoom until everyone in the choir feels safe to meet. But I'll keep that in mind. So you guys are still rehearsing on Wednesdays?
This is the Samuel Park group. We rehearse on Friday.
Oh, the Samuel Park group, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ready to make that call yet. We are of an age. You're of an age, Rod. Marg is.
Gary.
Some Terry is.
Pauline.
Some of you.
I am.
Dan.
Some of us breed
we have a daughter at home with a lung condition, so you know we don't want to put it. I want to see whether there's another spike. I want to see whether the curve stays flat. I want to see a month of no new cases in New South Wales. So I might change my mind about that, but that's where I am at the moment in terms of. I would feel dreadful if I called a rehearsal even of half the choir and then half of three or four people got sick as a result of that. It's just. I'm not seeing my grandchildren, you know.
The business that you can show no symptoms and be affected, that's what's really annoying.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just, you know, or you know, we could decide. That's what I'm thinking with going to visit my family. I'm just going to lay very low for 5 or 6 days so that I even get tested 3 or 4 days before I go to visit the family. That was the other, because it's probably me likely to bring it from Sydney to the south coast actually, rather than the other way around.
That's what I got tested before I went to see the family.
Yeah.
We're more dangerous than you are.
What?
But we're more dangerous than you are.
But you're more dangerous than me, yeah.
You can't get tested and you can't.
Especially with that hat. Yeah, listen, I want to stick to business for the moment because I'm still recording and I don't want it to be too big a file. But so the idea is that we do something on the 5th of September, and we have said keep the afternoon and the evening free, but I'm thinking now, because we don't know what it's going to be, if people can possibly keep the day free so that we're flexible with what we do. If we get to record in a nice big church with lots of acoustics and lots of space, great. But David has suggested a place in the mountains, and that would be a bit more of a trek. But it's the, what's it called?
It's the Lennox Bridge.
The Lennox Bridge.
It's an open bridge, but underneath, it's the oldest stone bridge on the mainland, and it does have a beautiful acoustic there. It's sandstone and a beautiful setting.
There's a handful of steps to go down, and then you're actually under the bridge, and you've got lovely acoustics. So we're going to check out a few places in the next couple of weeks. In the next month.
Did you say the 5th or the 6th of 5th?
Saturday the 5th.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday the 5th.
Concert was going to be on the 6th, wasn't it? Oh.
It was originally.
Yeah.
A long time ago, Pauline.
But more people were available on the 5th. And then the December concert is also the 5th, also a Saturday. And we're really, really hoping that by then we can have an audience. We only need 50 or 60 to break even, and we never get more than that anyway. So if we have a large enough venue, that's what we're hoping. But another thing that I would like to give a go, if enough of you are up for it, is to have a go at doing something really, really simple like Dulce and Belesso as a virtual choir. And what that means is that I send out various resources and instructions, and you record yourself singing your part on your phone while you're listening to the track and watching the conducting. And then with help from Daryl, he might be interested in helping. We put it together, and if it's rough as guts, well, at least we did it for fun. And if it's really good, we show other people. There is a lot of work in it. It can be quite stressful doing a virtual choir. You know, singing in a Zoom rehearsal can be stressful because you're on your own and you can only hear me and yourself. But singing for a virtual choir, you're in your house, and your house may or may not have great acoustics, and you're singing by yourself and then sending it out for someone else to listen to. Rod?
Yeah, we did that as well. And of the 6 people who sent a recording, I could use 4 of them because they were exact and in tune. But 2 of the people sort of got faster and then slowed down and faster and slowed down, so I couldn't use that.
Yeah.
For one of the pieces. And also Pamela's doing it for Oh Danny Boy. So they play the piano and we sing along with the piano through headphones, so that you have to use one computer for the recording and another one for your listening. But it seems to work, but it's horrible. When you listen, when you hear yourself, it's really horrible.
So your phone
What
for
does it sound
recording
like when you
and
put
then
it
the computer
together?
for listening.
What
Your
does it sound
phone,
like,
sorry.
Marilyn?
You can use your phone for recording and then the computer for listening with the headphones.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I did for the one we did for what was it, Venezuela?
Yeah, a few of us did it for Venezuelan choir, and by the way, that hasn't been put together yet. I think it was their first attempt, and I think they're battling.
I think there were 600 people or something.
Yeah.
Well, Marg's just been in one that's, how many is it, Marg?
17,500.
What?
Oh.
So it really doesn't matter what you do.
Will you make the final cut?
Priscilla, if you want to say something, you'll have to unmute.
No, I've just got to head off, so it was good to see you all. I'll wait for the recording.
Great to see you too.
Okay.
Okay, see Priscilla.
Bye.
Before you go, oh, she's gone. Okay.
Who said the S, Mug?
Sorry?
What?
Who said the S at the end?
Oh, I'm not sure. He just
Allow
said,
2 people?
I'm going to stop recording in a minute. I just want to get an idea how many people would like to have a go at making a virtual choir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
someone like that. Yeah, we've got enough to do it. Okay.
You need 4 parts.
Yeah, it's only in 4 parts. We'll do Dulciambelesso because it's nice and straightforward. I'll give you a bit of percussion on one track so that you've got something to stay in line with. We'll work it out. Okay, that's the end of the recording. So thanks for listening. Don't go away yet, but this will go out to all the members who are not here.
And Margot,